Hello everyone, how are you? So today we are going to do a fun activity that has been taken from your book Marigold Class 3 NCERT from the chapter Puppy and I. So take out your books and turn to page number 67 and we'll see what activity do we have to do. Okay. List these animals under domestic animals and wild animals. So, we have given this box with names of different animals. Can you see the names of different animals? Jackal, fox, tiger, dog, cow, elephant, bear, sheep, goat and buffalo. So what do we have to do? We have to separate these animals in these two columns. So the first column is domestic animals and the second column is of wild animals. But before categorizing them in domestic and wild animals, we should know what domestic and wild animals mean. Domestic animals, wild animals. Animals that stay with human beings are called domestic animals. So the animals that can stay with human beings are called domestic animals. So what are wild animals then? Animals that stay in forest are called wild animals. Yes, the animals that cannot stay or they do not stay with human beings are called wild animals. Yes, wild animals mostly stay in forest. Domestic animals, human beings provide food and shelter to domestic animals. So where does domestic animals get their food and shelter from? Domestic animals get their food and shelter from human beings because they live with human beings. Yes. So where do wild animals get their food and shelter from? Wild animals find food and shelter themselves without the help of human beings. So they fend for their food and shelter themselves. They do not rely on human beings. So in the forest, wild animals move around freely and what they do? They find their food and shelter on their own without getting any help from human beings. Some examples of domestic animals are cat, dog, cow, rabbit. So you must have seen these animals in some human beings' house. So yes, these animals are called domestic animals. There are other domestic animals as well. Some examples of wild animals are tiger, lion, crocodile, bear. So these animals do not live with human beings. They live in forest. Therefore, they are known as wild animals. Now let us move on to our activity. Okay, now we already know that in this box we have names of different animals and we have to classify them into domestic animals and wild animals. Now we know thoroughly that what are domestic animals and what are wild animals. So domestic animals are the animals that live with human beings and wild animals are the animals that live in forest. Okay, so we'll read the name of the animals one by one and then classify them into either domestic animals or wild animals. So the first one is jackal. So where do jackal live mostly? Does jackal live with human beings or in the forest? Yes, jackal lives in the forest. So it will be a wild animal, right? So I have written jackal under the category wild animals. Now let us move on to the next animal, that is fox. Where does a fox live? have you seen anyone with a pet fox? No, right? I have also not seen anyone with a pet fox. Fox are generally found in the forest, so we will write fox under the category wild animals, right? Next is tiger. So we all know that tiger lives in forest, right? Tigers prey for their own food and they find their shelter on their own. So tiger will come under the category wild animals. Next is dog. So have you seen any person with a pet dog? Yes, we have seen many people with a pet dog. So where will it come? It will come under the category domestic animals. So here I have written dog. Next is cow. Similarly, cows are also domestic animals because we have seen people with pet cows. And cows also give milk to us, so human beings take care of cow for their milk also. So cow will come under the category domestic animals. Next is elephant. Elephants roam freely in the forest, so they will come under the category wild animals. Yes. Next is bear. So where will bear come? Bear will come under the category wild animals. Yes, here is bear. Next is sheep. Sheep. What is it? Sheep. So we have seen people with a pet sheep. So we will write it under domestic animals, right? Next is goat. So have you seen people with pet goat? Yes, you must have seen many houses with a pet goat. So it will come under the category domestic animals. Last one is buffalo. Similar to cows, buffaloes are also used for their milk. So they are also domesticated by the human beings. So it will come under the category domestic animals. So I have written buffalo here. Wow, what a fun activity, right? We read the names of so many animals and then what did we do? We categorized these animals on the basis of whether they are domestic animals or they are wild animals. It was a fun activity, right? We'll meet next time with another fun activity, poem or a story. Until then, bye-bye.